And joining us tonight on a great American panel, he's the author of the brand new book, God Wants You Happy. Thank goodness. Fox News contributor Jonathan Morris is here. He is a former pollster to President Bill Clinton and Mayor Michael Bloomberg. I assume that's Bloomberg. Bernard Whitman is here. And he is a great American. God bless him. Here with a full report. Nationally syndicated radio talk show host out of the big one, WLW Cincinnati. And by the way, soon to be a nationally syndicated TV talk show star. It starts September 19th. Through Sean Compton Productions, a Tribune, the one and only Bill Cunningham. How are you, sir?
Sean Hannity, it's a great night to be an American. That's all I know. I feel humbled to be with a priest and with almost a rabbi. I'm not sure. I mean, I feel no one's to the right of me. And look at these guys. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, Father Maher, except on some of these, you know, where do we disagree on, like, redistribution of wealth a little bit.
I'm an independent voice, Sean.
Oh, that's true. All right.
Independent voice.
Did the Republicans screw up Bill Cunningham by undermining each other with conflicting plans?
I think this is the 30th year after Ronald Reagan took the presidency in 1981. We are seeing a theatrical act that's taken 3 decades, and this is the moment. The next week or two, it's all the Reagan revolution will succeed or fail in the next 13 days by August 2nd.
I agree with you.
That's it.
This is a moment of truth.
This is it.
All right. You were a pollster for Bill Clinton, and I'm a very strong critic of Clinton. But in the end, Republicans won in '94. He went kicking and screaming, balanced budget deal, 7 years, CBO numbers, and the country was better off because he made that deal. I don't see that side of Barack Obama. Do you?
Well, I think that with the Gang of Six proposal, we are finally getting some pragmatism back in Washington.
You don't even know what the gang. You don't know what the proposal is. Stop. Nobody knows.
Let me explain, Sean. The Republicans can never resist being swept into office, misreading the election, taking liberties, and being pounded again at the polls. 94, they shut down the government. 94, they shut down the government and ultimately paid the price at the polls. Bill Clinton was reelected.
Excuse me.
If the same thing happens now, and they try to push this cut, balance, cap.
That'd be cut, cap, and balance.
Thank you. It is clear the American public has said they would blame the Republicans because they want compromise. Yes, they have.
That's not what the polls say.
That is absolutely what the polls say.
The polls say they want the debt dealt with far more than they want taxes raised, and the American people feel that these scoundrels have spent too much money, and it's like crack cocaine to them, and they're tired of it.
Three-quarters want compromise.
You know what? One thing that we do know about this Gang of Six proposal is that they want to raise $1 trillion of revenue, right? $1 trillion of revenue. Where is that going to come from? If it's not raising taxes, this is what I believe is going to happen, and I think we should be fearful of it. One way they're going to raise this revenue is they're going to get rid of the ability to make charitable donations in such a way that is helpful to your own bottom line.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Churches, charities suffer.
What it means is that individuals, families, businesses have less choice in terms of building up charitable things than the government does. And so the government's going to get that money, and it's going to be up to them to decide how to help the poorest in our society. That's a big deal, Sean.
I agree. No, I agree
with you. We have to be
you.
very careful of that happening.
But they're talking about $1 trillion in new revenue, and then here's the new, you know, fuzzy D.C. math, the way it works in the bureaucracy.
Sean Hannity, '94 was such a terrible failure. Republicans controlled the Congress for the next 12 years. Bush took the presidency for 8. A dismal failure. And then Bernard's pals in 2008 won the Congress for 2 years. Then it quickly switched back again to the Republicans. That wasn't a failure. That was a great success. The failure is going to happen in the next 13 days if the Republicans buckle. Look what happened in Minnesota with Dayton. The Republicans made him buckle.
You know John
Friend of
Boehner.
mine.
Friend of yours. Golfing friend of yours.
Yeah.
Well, John, so far the House has been great. Are they going to hold the line, Bill Cunningham? Because I don't think the Senate has the to do it.
John Boehner.
Sorry,
I didn't understand.
Yeah, you'd understand.
John Boehner's backbone is the Tea Party. He is a chromium backbone, which is the Tea Party. He knows if he compromises, he's out of the speakership next year, and Paul Ryan's going to be the speaker.
And you know what? If there's no compromise, the Republicans are going to be out of office. The American people want compromise. They want the government to work.
Just
they want
like
the government to work.
What happened for 12 years,
Let me explain one other thing. The Republicans for years have said, simplify the tax code, lower the rates. You now have an ability to actually do that. And instead, you're going to say, let's force a constitutional amendment. You don't get to force a constitutional amendment.
The country was craving a constitutional amendment.
Listen to reason.
The country is craving a government government that actually works, not a government that defaults on its debt.
They're craving a government that stops robbing from their kids and grandkids. That's what America's craving. Right now, this moment. Bill Cunningham, am I right or wrong?
Listen to reason, Bernard. Listen to you sound like Nancy Pelosi on her worst day.
You know what? I sound like three-quarters of the American people that want this government to actually cut spending and raise some revenue through taxes.
More of that great American panel next.
Way over there.
And we continue with our great American panel. All right, one last political question. You worked for Clinton.
I did.
Would we be better off with Hillary Clinton as president?
I think Hillary Clinton is doing an amazing job as Secretary of State. I think she would be an amazing president.
I did not ask you that. Did I ask that question, Bill Cunningham?
I'm waiting for an answer from this guy.
No, I was a big supporter of Hillary Clinton. I think she'd do an amazing job in the office.
All right. Would we be better off with her instead of Obama?
You know what? History is unfortunately not going to be able to answer that question. I think she would be a great president.
I'm asking for your perspective.
I think she would make a great president. Always have, always will.
Would she be a better president than Obama?
It's possible.
Bill Cunningham, did you get an answer out of that?
Well, that's a typical Democrat, that the obvious truth doesn't apply, so you beat around the issues so you confuse people, the viewers, into thinking something that isn't true. Let me ask you a question.
I don't even know what he just said.
Father, does he need to go to confession, this guy?
Bless me, Father, for he has sinned.
We talked before the show.
I asked for a pre-confession, but he wouldn't.
Oh, he wouldn't. There's no such thing as
I said you have to at least be, have some sort of sorrow before, asking for forgiveness.
Right. I'm not sorry for being a big fan of Hillary Clinton, though.
From the Latin, that change one's heart. So you voted for Obama in the end, and I'm asking you if you have a change of heart and you think that you think he's failed.
To answer your question explicitly, I voted for Hillary Clinton over Barack Obama in the primary.
Okay. Do you think that Hillary would have been a better? Do you think Hillary? Do you think
beating a dead
I forgot my own
horse here,
question. Help me out, Cunningham.
Would Hillary have been a better president than Obama? Yes or no?
It's possible.
That's as good as we're going to get.
All right, let me move on. All these attacks against Governor Palin, Michelle Bachmann. Let me just show you one. This is Bill Maher. I mean, as vicious as it gets, typical, quintessential, and he's getting angrier by the day. Here he is.
I don't want to be crass, but I just hope that Marcus Bachmann takes all that, that rage that comes from repression and denial and brings it into the bedroom with her. And I hope he her angrily because that's how I would, and I've thought about it.
Just so you don't get charges of sexism because only Michelle Bachmann was. I sometimes think about on a Rick Santorum.
Now, he said a lot worse, and we played it in the last couple of nights, and we called on the National Organization for Women to see if they'd step up. Here's what they said. Bill Maher and his show are known for crass humor, including sexist slurs, but this time it was the guests who overstepped acceptable satirical boundaries, veering into hateful and violent territory. Well, he's the one the week before that was calling the MILFs.
Sean Hannity, remember a few years ago, Senator Bob Packwood allegedly tapped a female staffer on the behind. The Democratic women and Now Gang marched up the steps of the Senate to haul Bob Packwood out of office. When Clinton had his difficulties, you couldn't find a Now member with a search warrant. And now that this kind of stuff's going on about female anatomy parts, you can't find people like Bernard criticizing anything.
Bill Maher does say some things that make me cringe, but Bill Maher ain't Bob Packwood or President Clinton. He is a comedian. He's a satirist. That's what he does.
Let me ask you, if Ronald Reagan had done in the Oval Office what Bill Clinton had done in the Oval Office, what would now have done to Reagan?
The American people are better off because Bill Clinton was...
Can you answer a question?
The American people are better off because Bill Clinton was president.
Answer his question.
What would have happened if Ronald Reagan did exactly the same thing to an intern that Bill Clinton had done? What would now have done to Ronald Reagan?
I suspect the same things that you guys did to Bill Clinton.
But they didn't do anything about Clinton. They voted for him, endorsed him when he ran for re-election. Nothing happened.
And you spent 2 years trying to throw him out of office.
We got a priest to put moral perspective on.
No, let's be honest. Bill Maher is a comedian, but he does talk and propose and carry forth an agenda that is very serious. And it is an anti-religion, anti-Judeo-Christian values agenda. He's very clear about it. He hates this stuff.
And he kisses Obama's backside.
He hates organized religion. He uses the comic world in order to carry out such an agenda. He himself would say it, and he would say it in a very serious agenda, and now should stand up and recognize that and say, we are not going to let him hide behind satire and doing these very sexist, nasty things on his show. Imagine if you did those things on your show,
He is an equal
Sean.
opportunity offender. I give him that.
No, he's not. He's a liberal suck-up, and that's it. It's all, and he's gotten angry, and he's not funny anymore. It's all the time we have left, and we'll see you tomorrow night.